G'day and welcome to the Inforunners. I'm Execute, joined today by Algared. How you doing, mate?
Fairly well, fairly well.
All right, so there was a trailer that dropped today
Mm.
from the AIE on like a little sneak peek of all the little things coming up, and we thought we'd go through it with you guys and see what we discover.
Yeah, so there's a lot of little sneak peeks. It's going to be a little bit of theory crafting and speculation as we try and work out what the hell those bits are for. So it should be interesting.
First cab off the ramp, we've got the schedule. You'll notice how everything's in alphabetical order from left to right when there's multiple things on the same day, with the exception of Gatak up here. And I think that kind of clearly signifies, if you've been following the AIs previously, usually whoever the first day is the manufacturer of the sale. And yes, there are multiple manufacturers on that day, but front and center, that's not in alphabetical order, is Gatak. So I think we can safely say for the first time ever, we've kind of got an alien manufacturer sponsoring AIE.
And it's interesting because they don't have the close link with MISC that APOA do. APOA had the, I believe, had the contract with the exchange of ships and stuff. So that's interesting. And then we've also got the, that wavy pattern you saw that you'd pointed out. Oh, that's the same pattern as on the Gatak. So
it's kind of in the
we've got
background
that in here.
Yeah.
So that kind of lends more credit to it. But the other thing that I find always interesting is both people who follow IAE, you've got me saying it, X, curse you.
Sorry.
Is that usually the company sponsoring it has a ship. So we've got something from Gatak coming.
Yeah, and we've also got the graffiti around Microtech saying don't buy alien as well from Xenothread. So that there's lots of tips of the hats that this is an alien manufacturer coming. So I think we can kind of really confirm it now with Gatak being their front row setter. So we just want to kind of confirm that for you guys going into this trailer. So what we're going to go through here in this trailer, I just realized I need to take it back a little bit, but first cab off the rank was there's two nomads. Now this may be an absolutely nothing here, but it's just really interesting that there are two of them and that all the other ships seem to show most of the ships in a lineup. And the fact that there's two of these is a bit strange to us. It might be an absolute nothing berg. In fact, we've heard nothing about a consolidated Outland ship or a variant of the Nomad. So I'm going to make it pretty much sure that it's a nothing burger. Maybe a little bit just to throw it in there for speculation off the bat. So
possibly even just showing the stacking of cargo and hey, we can stack cargo now. And
I think coming up.
And we've got the tractor beams working. But yeah.
So here we've got the Fury, followed by the Fury MX, and then the Fury
LX.
Yeah, LX. So that's what we meant by a series. Nothing really much else happens here for a little bit, so I am going to skip this through. Again, we have the C1 there with the tractor beam you can see on top, and then we've got the A1 just there with its turret. If we go forward a bit more, it just kind of goes through all the regular ships, kind of showing them how they look. And it's right about here where we get into the interesting stuff. So this is the Tumbral Storm, obviously, with that gun there, argued by Hurston Dynamics that we can clearly see now.
Old man Hurston is very happy with that one, definitely.
Yeah, so I'm still leaning towards some kind of lightning gun to go with the name for the Storm, but we could be completely wrong. At the very least, I think we'd have to say it's got to be a distortion, of some description, or something like the NX that does damage and distortion at the same time. So
I know when we first saw the gun in the grey box, we were looking at it and we were saying that looks really very similar to the electric guns, and it's just upgraded. So and an idea of an electric gun does tie very nicely in with the name Storm. So yeah.
All right, so then if we let it play a little more, we will get onto the Storm AA. SRV there, obviously, and it's the next one. So this is the one that me and Algared want to go over that we think is kind of interesting. I do have a picture I forgot to open, Algared, so I will open that really quickly right now. I may have to copy it across there because it's going to open in that one. So I will, give me 2 secs. So it's this one here. And you can notice that this is very similar to the actual military. And you can obviously see there is a very big correspondence. Like if I go forward just a few more frames before it cuts out, and it did cut out on me. There we go. It is very similar to those boxes there on the end. You can make out that there's 4 of them if you're watching it at a high resolution, and that is indeed very similar to these. So I think I was hoping it was a mortar Algared, but I really think unfortunately it's another AA. which is a bit of a disappointment to me. I don't
Yeah.
really see the need for a super fast mobile AA. It would work with the other storms, but again, the way they describe the storm is it's more of a, flanker get in on its own and take out the artillery. So I don't see the need for a highly mobile AA. And a lot of the military guys I talked to when we first heard this name floated, they didn't think so either. So I don't know. What's your thoughts on that, Algared?
Well, when I first saw it, I didn't think of the of that missile launcher truck
Mm,
or anything. I thought HIMARS,
yep.
the mobile multi-missile launching artillery system that
Mm,
seems to be doing very well in a certain conflict
yep.
in Europe.
Mm,
So that's what I thought of. I thought, oh, HIMARS, and I know for HIMARS they've got different size
mm,
weapons. So they've got the bigger missile, the smaller missiles.
yep.
And so my thought is, oh, are there going to be variations of this? So are we going to have different loadouts of missile? And I'm showing my total lack of knowledge of modern military weapons.
Yep. Where
But
is it?
that's okay.
Hang on. So the other thing is I just want to share really quickly is if you actually open a 3D viewer,
Yep.
fortunately this won't work in Hanger Link because Hanger Link's more 2D. But if you go down to the storm and you can actually spawn the storm in, is it going to work for me? There we go. You can actually get this at an angle and you can see how even in this 3D viewer, they've got multiple colors here. So you can essentially just see how that whole middle section will essentially be popped out and swapped in with something like this middle section pretty easily.
Yeah.
So
I can remember when we first saw this, and you were almost having kittens because you thought that grey section at the top would lift up and give you that access. Oh, it's a
I thought it was Batman. I thought it was the Batman tumbler. Come on, let's go. Yeah. I was like, yeah, and it really does. Come on, you gotta be honest. That looks a lot like a Batman tumbler, let's be
It
honest.
does look like a Batman tumbler, and when you first said it, I went, yeah, it could be. And then they showed us, and it was just, get in the front.
Yeah, it was a big letdown. Yeah, John Crow, I expect better next time. And this better come with a cape for those that. No, it's okay. That'd be awesome. I'm make up some law reason like I'm Fat Man or something. I don't know what they make up a law version of Batman. It'd be funny. But yeah. So yeah, that would have been cool. But yeah, I don't know. We'll see how this lands. If it's an artillery, it'll be really popular. But like to be honest, someone kind of pointed that out today. Like if they were going to do an artillery, wouldn't it be this giant, massive railgun S type thing? And you got to be honest, yeah, it would be. It'd be something like that.
The only thing I've got that makes me think maybe not is that if you follow the news and you follow that conflict in Europe, the HIMARS are the poster child.
Yeah.
And so if it's being built by the European crew, then that's going to be something they're going to be more aware of. So I could see it being something like that. The thing that does make me hope that maybe, just maybe, it's an artillery is you'll remember when the Tumbral Storm was first plugged. It's a fast tank for getting behind and taking out artillery.
Yeah. But it's also weird to make something that takes out itself, which is kind of weird. I think for me, it's more likely that it's only got 4 of them and that they do seem a lot larger than missiles. And every other AA ones that we've seen up to this point is just like a missile rack that unveils itself. The fact that this kind of comes up and it's at that angle, it just reminds me of like that Russian rocket truck thing and things like that. And I'm just hoping it's more like, laser painted bombs or something like that. They're dumbfire. So you just fire them and after a certain point, they just turn into bombs like the A1 or the A2 and they basically just go kaboom and explode. That's kind of what them to be, like dumbfire mortars. And maybe down the line, we get something more akin to laser targeting and stuff like that. So we'll see. But fingers crossed for now. I think we'd all be a lot more excited if there were, a bit of artillery or mortars. Mortars might be the proper way to call them because artillery is a bit more targeted. This is a bit more dumbfire. So yeah, if they're mortars, I think it's a bit more exciting, especially going into things like the tank mode in Arena Commander. This would be mad to go around in that and just like lob stuff at the other tanks would be hilarious.
And like I said, it feels like we're at a point where having something like that would be good.
Yeah.
It would certainly work for things like Jump Town. We do know that with the scanning array, they're talking about being better able to target or identify vehicles. So that kind of raises the bar. But, this little bit of foil was my tinfoil hat.
Yeah.
So I can't put it on.
Yeah.
But we are in that tinfoil hat territory at that point. Yeah,
It's
we
more.
We live in hope.
It's not. Yeah, it's not copium. It's hopium.
No.
It's very much hopium.
Yeah.
All right, let's keep going. So we're going to get onto the alien ship here in just a few frames. So this is the first one we see of it. It's obviously got some kind of reflection of the Redeemer right there in it. The problem with a lot of these shots, and I'm going to let them play through, there's about 4 of them. They are all super close, and there's only really one that kind of gives you any detail, right? So there's 5 of them. But the last one does give you a bit of information that the red, the white, the black, and the purple and all that are actually all colors of this ship. So basically, it wasn't multiple ships we were seeing, it was just the one. But the really telling one, Algared, is, I think you would agree with me, is the...
Well, just on this one, that bottom left kind of pattern that you see, I can remember when we kind of saw something similar to that on the Nomad, and we thought, ooh, that's a Sean ship. But that's about the only thing I've got there for that one.
This one. So I think this is the most telling one, right? So straight off the bat, the obvious stuff is this looks like a button. If you've ever seen the Zion console leak where they showed off it was on one IC like years and years ago, and there was a console that kind of folded out and had a similar shape and structure to this. And me and Algared think this could potentially be a component box or something similar to that. But that's not the interesting part. The interesting part's on the left-hand side of the screen, because this is a room, and clearly what looks like a door with some kind of light above it, and it has the same floor pattern on it as that same video from years ago. If I had the video and I could recall it, I'd bring it up. I do know Algared and I did an episode on it, so maybe
it's somewhere in our
the
archives of videos.
I'll find it and chuck it down in the description, so you guys can go have a look. But basically, I think that shows that it's got quite a big interior. I don't think this is a small starter like it's been reported. One of the reasons I'd also go back to is we know the Drake Cutter is coming. They don't tend to double up ships like that. Just to give you an example, they split the 2 cutters apart, one at CitizenCon, one at AIE, because they didn't want to double up of 2 ships that are the same, but also they don't like to sell 2 starters at the same time. I don't think this is a starter. I also think if you look through the lineup, we know that we have a concept for a large ship, and all the other ships coming are not straight flyable. So if you've got a straight flyable that's a starter and a concept that's a large, that leaves room for a medium. So I think this is clearly a medium to me. And I think if I go grab the image from Leaks Algared, which is this one, which is Hader's nice crayon work there. Probably should have shaded a bit more, a bit of gradient in there. But if you look at the one they've done, I think even if that is their representation of it, that ain't look at the size of that person. That is not a starter ship. That is a large. Not a large, sorry, a medium. God, medium. I'm getting ahead of myself now, but yeah.
And I was looking at the Raylan, and I looked at the brochure, and they've got a cutaway of the interior of the Raylan. And in the Raylan, they show the humans or the humanoids, and they're like minuscule compared to the rest of the ship.
Yeah.
And so if that kind of figure gives you an idea of scale, then that's certainly not a ship that's the size of a Raylan.
So a little bit more hopium. If you look at the Squadron 42 trailer, we know that this is the inside of the Zion capital ship from leaks from years ago, and we know that you can walk up and around the walls. So that thing he's walking on there is actually a rack or road that goes all the way up to the roof. And we know that this from the leaks that it has all these anti-gravity platforms and stuff. And so what we were wondering, if you applied that to this ship, could it be like some of the ones that we've seen in other sci-fi shows where they have how they have the big the big spinning thing, like a gravity ring. So what if it's a smaller one, but you can literally walk around it, and the rooms are in different positions around the cylinder? Now that would be really interesting. So you could, like, essentially when you're on the roof, you could walk in and do what you need to do there, walk around a bit more, do what you need to do there, and walk around to the floor and do what you need to do there. Or is it just a traditional, like the Raelian? Is it just an elevator that goes to different positions? But again, being 3 decks, Algared, I don't think it can be a starter ship.
Yeah, given it's been said to have 3 decks, I find it very hard for it to be a starter ship. And when I consider that the Raylan itself is 3 decks, I find it hard to even go with the idea that it's got 3 decks as well. Now, I know that we've got 2 ships. We've got the Argo Mole and the
That's a medium.
and the Raft, which are both medium.
Yep.
And they've got 3 decks. Sorry?
2 on the Mole and 2 on the Raft, but I get your point.
Okay,
yep.
so yeah.
Your point still stands though. Multiple
Yeah.
deck seems to be a medium ship kind of requirement at this point. Yes, it can break the rule, but again, you tell me the size of that room in that photo. That does not look like that doesn't. Oh, I need to go back to it, but that does not look like a starter ship to me. That looks quite large to me, especially if it's a door, which probably goes to another room or something like that. So, yeah. And then obviously, as you just saw before, we've got, it could potentially be this ship if you actually take that star pattern in Hader's crayon drawing here and apply that to this. It could still be that with them. You know, obviously they've got to fold down and then move forward. But again, it is entirely possible for landing purposes. That's how it lands. It folds those 3 star pieces down and they slide forward. And this could still be that ship. Now, whether it is, because it still does look Mirai to me, it could go either way. But it is possible. It is possible. The silhouette from the side on, it pans out. It matches up, doesn't it, Algared? Well, in my book,
I think the key thing that at least matches is we think that the ship that's being built just by the size, and the other thing that's going to come out is that it's medium.
Yep.
And this is a medium ship. That's probably the strongest thing that says they match up.
Yep. Again, look at that little person there, and then look at the person in the little crayon drawing. I would say they're, again, you got to remember the wings fold in and stuff. I would say they're pretty much on par. Whether or not it is exactly that, this could again still be a Mirai ship, like we said in our video, was it the last video? No, the video before that. It could be, but again, we just bring these to attention, so see if you can connect the dots like we do. And again, in the comments below, let us know your thoughts. Like, is this all tinfoil hat theory? But again, using logic and the things that Algared and I've seen in previous AIEs, this all lines up. You know, like the 3 ships that we're getting, as you saw in not the last video, but the video before that we did. I still think they're all on par for what we're getting. I just think this is more confirmation, and I guess this is just an update to that video, really, isn't it, Algared? There's not really...
Yeah. If we know we've got... I suppose the other thing is, if it's a concept ship and it's not coming straight to flyable, it doesn't necessarily have to be a ship that's on that spectrum either. I
wouldn't call that a not straight to flyable. That looks very flyable to me from the screenshots. But again, this is at $220. Where do you think it will sit price-wise, Algared? I think that, because again, this is for 4 people. I'd expect that to be for roughly 2. What are you thinking?
I'd be putting it at the price of a freelancer, I think.
Yeah, I'm thinking kind of like I'm thinking around the Raft, which is like I think it's 135, which is the same price as the freelancers. So yeah, that's pretty close to what I'm thinking.
You know,
and maybe
you've got to have that gap for the Raylan, unless of course they jack the Raylan price up.
A bit of alien tax, so I think it's going to be, and knowing the Zeus is there as well, I think we're looking 150, 170. Could I see it going as high as the Marky Mark at 190? Absolutely, because of the alien tax. That puts it $30 behind the Raelian, because you've got to remember, this is out, and then the Raelian's going to go up when it comes out. So 190 at release, or 200. I could even see that. I'm not kidding, because the Raelian is more than likely going to jump, $50, $60. Look at what happened to the Mercury Star Runner. It jumped from 225 to 260.
Look at what happened to the Hull C.
Yep. That's a lot older though. That breaks the rules. That one.
Yeah.
That didn't get a price update since 2013. That's why that thing jumped so much. But again, you combine the way the animations on this thing look, and it's a straight to fireable. This thing is going to sell like bananas. And they know it. They know it though.
I've got to say, the animations that you're seeing are not.
But I'm saying take animations like this. And apply it to that ship, and it's going to sell like bananas. It will.
I understand what you're saying. I was just clarifying for those people who say, but that's the Raelian, not the new ship.
I did say like this. I never said, cool. Yep. All right, with that then, I think we'll kind of wrap it up there. Let us know your thoughts in the comments below. Are we totally off the rails on this one, or is it just more confirmation from you from what we said last time? We just
have we drunk too much Kool-Aid? Are we needing to put our tinfoil hats on again to protect us?
Yep.
Yeah.
We just want to give you guys an update because I think it was kind of nice to see that. And other than that, we'll thank you for subscribe, ring that notification bell, and thank you to people at the end of the credits for going that extra mile on Patreon. With that, he's been Algared.
He's been Execute, and we're out of here.
Catch you in the next
Take care.